Yo! Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome back, guys. If you don't know it yet, my name is Zonal Press, and in today's session, we're going into part 3 of striker positioning. In the first 1 and 2 instances, we talked about the guidelines for the striker and how to make use of them. The second one, we talked about the on-the-ball movement. In this episode, we're going to be looking at off-the-ball positioning and movement for that striker. If you have not done it yet, please hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, let's go.
You know, for me, it's all about performance.
The first thing we're going to talk about is how you as a striker can help with your movement off the ball when your team is in attack. Now, you as the striker, all the attention is on you, first and foremost from the defense, simply because the objective of the game is to get it to the back of the net, and no one should be doing that better than you on the pitch. You can use that to your advantage though, by pulling defenders out of their position. So if you're sitting in a central area here, by simply moving into these half space areas, that whole line of defense shifts. What this does is open up all this wide space here for your attacking man, so that if your team is capable and can switch the ball fast enough, they've now got space in behind. What this does as well is it also disorientates the defensive line so that they're not sitting so solid at the back. And the moment you do that, it's opening up space for your teammates who can take advantage. You also need to be able to break away with the speed of the attack. Now what I mean by this is, if in a situation like this, where the winger has the ball and he's broken the line and he's able to get into a crossing position, what you want to be is in the right position to meet that ball head on. If you move too fast, you will be offsides. If you move too wide, you're not an option coming towards the ball. So what you want to do is break centrally towards that penalty area and see where you can meet him. If you break away too slowly, what that in turn means is that this winger will have to take the ball backwards to come and find support, which isn't terrible, it's just not ideal. Now, it is also your duty as the striker to help your team get out of overloaded situations. So in this instance where everyone is covered and everyone has been overloaded with a 2-on-1, it is easiest for you to get out from your high position, simply drop off central here to help your midfielders, simply because your defenders won't want to lose that line in coming back to come and receive that ball from you. Or out into the half spaces to help either winger so that they can be able to create and get the ball out as well. So it is your duty as the striker to recognize these situations and get out into these spaces that are available so that the team can recycle and recreate again. And now let's talk about what you as a striker should do in your movement and your positioning to help your team when you are defending. Now this is very much dependent on the type of press and the structure in defense that your coach likes to set up. But here are a couple of pointers as to how you can go about engaging in that. The first thing for me is how to press to buy time. Now, what I mean by this is that your team wants to have a deep position and defensive setup. So how you, the striker, would do that is, instead of going straight to engage, you want to drop down below the ball so that you can buy your team time to set themselves up in their defensive setup. And in that same vein, if you want to press to cut off the passing options, you're going to have to move as the shadow of those options. So you want to move across down here if you want to block off the passing options to the center backs or to the wide backs. So don't just go directly towards him, angle your run so that you're cutting off those options as he's looking to give them, and then you can go ahead and engage. Now, the best way for you as a striker to assist your team in helping your team engage in what would be a zonal press is to sit in between and in the half spaces. So if you're looking to isolate this player here on the ball, sitting in between the players here allows that situation to come out and about. But If the ball is now moved to the right back, sitting in between and in the half space allows you to assist your team with that zonal press setup. Now, what are your responsibilities as an individual when you are off the ball? For me, it really relies on your abilities as well as your responsibilities in your role for the team. But one thing I do know is you need to be able to contest, whether it's in the air, on the floor, you need to be able to contest and really be a presence inside the box or even outside the 18 area. Another thing for me is you need to time your runs. So you need to be able to break with the speed of play, but then as well as you need to be able to meet the ball at a certain point at a certain time. And don't always make the same run. You need to be able to finish from all angles. So time that run, communicate with players around you, and make sure that they know how you like to receive the ball in certain places. Then the last thing for me is you need to be able to link up and you need to be able to take on defenders. So this doesn't mean that you need the ball to take them on, engage them. Make sure that they are aware of your presence, and once they are aware of your presence, guide them. Make sure that you are moving them. Don't just be someone who's there. If you can have a defender in a half-hearted decision to make whether he needs to go for the man on the ball or continue to shield and block you, that's quality. Because you've got him in two minds, now your team can take the advantage of that. So be sure to engage in the people by being energetic, making lots of runs, and contesting everything. You need to be present in order to get the goals. And that is all from us, guys. Thank you so much for joining me once again. That is it for the soccer positioning series. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to click that like button. If you are looking for more soccer content on tactics, psychology, and football development, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be here for a long time. Thank you so much for joining me once again, guys. I will see you again in the next video.